Jumi Absua, welcome to week 8. We have 2 more weeks left of PST before we go to our permanent sites, and we have 1 more week left with our host families here before we go integrate with a brand new family. There is definitely a mix of emotions surrounding that, and I will get into that in a little bit. But we're going to start with finishing practicum. We had 3 days of practicum this week. It was the flip-flop of whatever you started on last week. So I started in primary school, so I had 3 days in the secondary school this week. It was technically 2 days, and then Wednesday was like a fun review day where we played games pretty much for 2 hours with our students and then took some pictures, had a K-pop dance party, and got out of school early that day. So for us that day, we did a couple of fun review games for the first hour, and then the second hour we played Jeopardy, and we made a ton of sticky notes. Kids had never played it before, but they got pretty competitive. They seemed to like it a lot. Yeah, so that was pretty fun. And then practicum ended. And now it just feels like we're just in limbo. We're kind of just waiting for the next thing, you know? I'm at least personally feeling pretty antsy to get to the next step. But again, I'll get more into that. So after practicum, Thursday we had a community event, which was also super fun, where whoever had finished practicum at the high school stayed at the high school for this, and whoever was at primary school stayed at the primary school. And we had a community event, which was just fun day for the students who participated in practicum. I forgot to mention, all the students the day before, they got certificates for coming to practicum. So the people who showed up, you know, did this extra English learning, they got a certificate that says basically you did the thing, which, I don't know, they were pretty stoked on. And I think the families are stoked to see that too. It just feels like official. Anyways, so Thursday we finished off with a community event. We had 4 teams, and everybody kind of picked a different thing. One team played kickball, one team did a scavenger hunt, one team did an obstacle course, and then one team did painting. I was in the painting team, and it was nice. You know, it was fun to do something non-academic with the students, kind of give them a break, and then get to see their more active and creative sides. So with painting, we had a bunch of paintbrushes, paints, pretty simple, but we had some really talented artists. It was really cool to see. Actually, one of my students painted me this from the practicum. Not the day we were painting. She painted this at home on her own and gave me and each of my other co-teachers a really cool painting, which was a really sweet gift. I'm really grateful for that. It's really cool. Then, like I said, we had the painting day, and that was also a lot of fun. Not much more I feel like I need to say on that. It was cool. So then we've been having language, and yeah, we're leaving next week. And like I said, there's a mix of emotions. I'm feeling, one, very excited to get on to the next thing. I'm looking forward to being at site. I'm looking forward to figuring out what my site placement is, which we find out tomorrow, which that has been a long anticipated thing. Pretty much it feels like that's all anybody's been able to talk about for the last week. Like, once practicum ended, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's our site gonna be like? And in classic Peace Corps fashion, we don't find out until 3 o'clock tomorrow, so we actually have to sit through a bunch of sessions, then have lunch before we get to know what our site is. So I think everyone's gonna be on the edge of their seats. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to pay attention. I'm just gonna be thinking about the site the whole time. But kind of makes sense that I put it at the end. But, talk about that next week. I'm looking forward to it. So, there's the excitement, but then there's also kind of the sadness that comes with that. Not only are we going to be leaving each other soon, but we're leaving our host families. And it feels like we just kind of got into a rhythm, like a groove, and like started really connecting and like feeling this relationship with these people. And now we're leaving. And it just feels kind of abrupt, and we're gonna have to go to a whole nother place and kind of start all over. Start building the relationships, telling about ourselves, learning about our new host families. It makes sense that they do it this way, but it's a little emotionally taxing, it feels like. Yeah, it's kind of sad. But once we're there, we're there. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm pretty much over the PST and ready to get started on the real work. So, yeah, it's been good. The other thing we started learning this week was the Khmer National Anthem, which we're expected to sing in 2 weeks at Swear-In. So we've been dabbling a little bit into that. We did a 1-hour session with all of our language instructors, where all the language classes got together and we went over the basics of it. We listened to the song a couple times. We tried singing along. The language instructor sang it to us, which was really beautiful. I'll go ahead and include a clip of that happening. Yeah, so that's the song we're supposed to learn. Got 2 weeks to do it. Today, me and one of my friends put the sheet music to the IPA. So they showed us the IPA, and then another volunteer found the sheet music and put it in a group chat, and then me and another volunteer worked together to kind of put it into, like, align the IPA to the sheet music. Which is helpful, I think, for some people who could read the sheet music. And if you can't read the sheet music, then, I guess you're gonna have to follow along best you can. I don't know. I know how to read sheet music. And I found it pretty helpful to have the sheet music with the IPA. I'm looking forward to it. I kind of want to have it down for the swear-in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm musically inclined, so I wanna do the thing good. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm exhausted. PST has been long and it has been hard, and we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're not quite there yet. We got a lot to look forward to in the next couple weeks. We get to know our sites tomorrow. We go to Phnom Penh the following week for 4 or 5 days, and then we have swear-in. We get 2 full days of language where all we do is language for 8 hours next week, so that's super stoked. Super look forward to that. I think I mentioned last week that my brain is pretty full of the language, and I actually learned a phrase. It's Kinyum, Kua, Kabal, Pen. My brain is full. Yeah. That's where I'm at. But as I've mentioned before, I'm just writing down as much as I can, so I've got basically a Kamai Bible when I get to site, and I've at least got all the words that I can reference. I think just having as much vocabulary as you possibly can that's pretty much all you can ask for at this point. Alright. Well, I think that's a wrap for week number 8. Thanks again for watching. Akun Tran. We'll see you next week. And I'll tell you all about where I'm going to be going. Till then.